My presentation is going to be on the government of Australia. Australia is a constitutional monarchy. Even though they have a monarch, much of their power is held by their Prime Minister, their House of Representatives, and their Senate, which was modeled after the United States House and Senate. The Australian Prime Minister has the job of appointing ambassadors, ministers, and judges, giving royal assent to legislation, issuing writs for elections, and bestowing honours. The Australian government also has a constitution. Their constitution was written in a series of constitutional conventions held in the 1890s. It was passed by the British Parliament as part of the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act in 1900 and took effect on the 1st of January 1901. The government obeys the rules and laws that were originally set up, but some of their laws can cause major problems for their government. For example, their Senate has generally an equal amount of power as their House, but the Senate has more control over the passing of bills and can control the flow of money, and their House can't. This ability to control money has been used in the past to force other parties to have their people resign from office, allowing the other party to step in and take control. Victoria and the Australian Capital Territory are the only states and territories in Australia to have a human rights bill protecting the rights and freedoms of their citizens. Currently, there's a huge debate about whether or not Australia as a whole needs one. Australia has two major parties. These two dominant political groupings are the Australian Labor Party and the Coalition. Formed in 1893, the Australian Labor Party has been a major party federally since 1901 and has been one of the two major parties since the 1910 federal election. The origins of the coalition date back to the 1922 federal election when the Nationalist Party, the main middle-class non-labor party of the time, lost the absolute majority it had held since its formation in 1917. The Nationalists could only govern with the support of the two-year-old Country Party. After some long, hard negotiations, the Nationalists got the support of the Country Party. The Nationalist Country Coalition was re-elected twice and continued in office until its defeat in 1929. The thing I find most interesting about this government is how this country has a Senate and a House of Representatives and a legislation process that's modeled after the United States. But because their Senate has just slightly more power than their House, and the Senate has the ability to control money in certain situations and bill making, things just work out so much differently for them. And I just find it really interesting how different it is because of those two little things. And that concludes my presentation on the government of Australia.